Raw review for this week's episode of Raw. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers and talk about some wrestling, huh?
This Raw after Money in the Bank, I don't really know how to feel about it. We'll get into it, but it was a Raw.
It was something. It starts out though. We're still in Canada, Ottawa, and CM Punk is going to start the show here. So we're not even going to wait for it. We're getting our answers early. He comes on out. First thing he does is he does the right thing. You know what he does? Congratulates Mr. John Cena on announcing his retirement. Old rivalry, old buddies. There was a video that went online of him talking to him backstage. So good for him to say that. He brings up the fact that Drew has been suspended. He has been fined $25,000. Drew has been fined even more than that. But he's been suspended indefinitely. He calls him $1 million body, but a 10-cent brain. His whole spiel here was all about how your actions have consequences. And he's calling himself Drew McIntyre's consequences. He's saying, I am your consequences. So, yeah, basically, but then he goes in and he says, but I'm here for you. And you being suspended does not help me. So Adam Pearce, please come out here and let's lift the suspension. And Adam Pearce did not come out.
He did not.
Seth Rollins comes out.
Yes, he did.
Because when CM Punk screwed Drew, he also screwed Seth. Because Drew ended up being the one taking the pin. Damian Priest retained the title at Money in the Bank. So Seth is pissed. And he's sitting here saying, Punk goes out to commentary. He's just having a funny time with Pat McAfee while Seth makes his entrance. Seth is like, what are you going to do? You're going to sit out there? You're going to come in here and let me beat your ass? And Seth is right. And CM Punk goes to the ring. And he's like, last time we spoke, I told you not to disrespect me. So just watch your mouth. But Punk goes on to disrespect him by bringing up his kid. But when he does this, he does it for a reason. He says, I did that for a reason. I did that to make you angry because Drew McIntyre happens to be walking around the world right now with my bracelet that my wife gave me with her name, my kid's name, or not his kid's name, his dog's name. And that's how personal it feels to him. And he goes, so I'm here to also say, I am sorry to you because I did not mean to screw you out of your championship dreams. I was just doing what I need to do for Drew. But then he immediately turns around and he goes, but it is you, Seth Rollins. So, how sorry do I really have to be? And Seth goes on a spiel about the world does not revolve around CM Punk. You can burn bridges anywhere else in the world, and I will let that slide. But Saturday, you burned my bridge. This was my title on the line. You took that from me, and I'm going to take everything from you. He says, when you are cleared to fight, before you can even mention the word Drew McIntyre, I will break you and put you out of action again. He storms out of the ring. This is like a 20-minute segment to start the show with these two guys. But they both tore the house down on the mic, especially Seth, I thought he really shined here. I'm going to go ahead and give it a pop.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a pop as well. I think this kind of had to be the way you open the show.
Yeah.
I mean, Punk costing Drew, costing Seth, and he cost Priest the chance to do it by himself. So just so much centered around that, like we talked about before. We didn't really necessarily like Punk kind of being the reason the title picture because he's not in it, but like he gets to decide it. So kind of like a weird Money in the Bank like result. But yeah, Punk, great on the mic as always. I really thought he drove home a lot of points as to why.
Yeah.
I don't want to say curious because like why Punk did it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like to hear him talk about it and talk about it so clear and concise that I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like I get it. I see why you did it.
Because he even said like something like people are like, it's a simple bracelet, but he's like, it's worth 15 cents around the world, but to me, that thing's worth everything to me.
Yeah.
And if you've been given something, most people have been given something small like that immediately it's boosted up by 1,000 because of the person who gave it to you or because of the reason. And it's like, yeah, I can relate to that, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you have Seth going, and Seth, like you said, I thought Seth cut probably the best promo I've heard Seth cut since maybe like the Riddle days.
It was really good.
Like when him and Riddle had that feud, like he had some good stuff then.
Did you notice he cut out like he didn't do his Joker laugh. He cut out all of that like crazy character, and it was just like back to like pissed off Seth Rollins here for business. Like, nope, I'm not here to laugh. You screwed me out of what I'm here to do, and I'm pissed.
Yeah,
and
not a whole lot of laughing,
Yeah.
and also he didn't have them sing a song. Like, you
Yeah.
know how sometimes
Yeah.
he plays into that, and it goes on for so long. But yeah, the serious side of Seth Rollins is back, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see it. I am intrigued now because Rollins doesn't have a match at SummerSlam, so you'll get into later some more stuff with Seth. But it's like,
now we can get into it now. Like, what is the path for Seth? Is he gonna piggyback on the Drew McIntyre CM Punk thing? Do they maybe throw a title implication on the line there? Like whoever wins gets a shot at the title.
I think they probably do.
It makes sense at this point with how close we are to SummerSlam. Like, obviously the Drew CM Punk feud, we've all targeted SummerSlam, but now that you did this screw job with Seth, he really doesn't have another rivalry, and that'd be hard to build in a few weeks. So
yeah, it'd be hard to build in a few weeks, and I think everybody almost de facto, like, the Punk McIntyre, even without them saying, hey, shot at the title, we've all kind of thought that.
Yeah.
But I see them probably throwing Rollins in there. I don't know if I necessarily like that, though, because the Punk and McIntyre feud is so hot.
Yeah.
I'm almost like, I don't really need Seth in it.
Maybe it's to protect CM. Maybe CM Punk will be technically cleared by then, but not like 100% ready to go. And so you can kind of have Drew and Seth carry the match while also getting CM Punk's first big match back. Something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And then probably Seth somehow, I would assume, takes the pin.
Yeah.
And then you continue Punk and McIntyre into something else, I guess. You keep them going because they still got to have a singles match.
Yeah, I mean, no, if it ends up being a triple threat match, it'll be a banger. So I'm in. We'll move on, though. Adam Pearce is backstage with Dom Mysterio because Dom is in the main event tonight. It's him and Liv taking on
Rightfully so.
Taking on Zelina and Ray, and Dom is pissed because he doesn't like Liv. He's like, why am I in this match? And Adam Pearce is like, dude, Liv came to me and she told me that she screwed up for you last week and she wants to make it up for you, so this is how she's going to do it. Dom's like, damn it. And Liv walks on over and she's like, Daddy Dom, I just want to do this for you. We're going to make this right. And he's like, okay, fine. But he goes, but there better be tendies and nuggies. And she goes, of course, Daddy Dom.
I mean, what else more could you want? I mean, you'd love it.
There's so much Liv and Dom stuff this show, so we won't pop or drop that. But it is a funny ass segment. We then get a good match though. Jey Uso, Chad Gable.
I don't know if I'd say good match.
Oh, we then get a
match. Period.
They both come out after their Money in the Bank match from the other day, where they both failed to win. Chad is selling a rib injury because during that match he had a big spot where he was hanging from the rafters and he fell down and then he got speared. So he's selling it. He's trying to do his arms up, but they're not. His ribs hurting him. But even though he was hurt, he dominated this match.
Yeah.
I mean, dominated Jey.
Absolutely.
In every way possible. He had the advantage early. He can just flat out wrestle Jey Uso.
That's why when you say a good match, that's the reason why I'm like, I don't know if I would say good because obviously it takes two to tango there. And Gable is just rightfully so. I mean, he was on the Olympic team. Like, he can wrestle.
Yeah, he's dumb.
And it just head and shoulders above. And you see Jey kind of gets his little spots in, his little moves here and there. But it's like,
but they were just spots.
Mm-hmm.
They were.
Yeah.
Early on in the match, speaking of spot, Jey Uso would go for a suicide dive that Chad would catch into a belly to belly that Jey took weird. It's like he just didn't. I don't know what. I wouldn't call it a botch, but he just tried to take it like a little. He tried to take the bump lightly, and because he tried to take it lightly, he ended up really eating it.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was stuck in between. Maybe do I go like right onto my back or do I go on the side?
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like he was a little, or I guess like in between on how should I take this.
We've been very vocal. Well, WWE fans have been very vocal about commercial breaks lately. Today they did do commercial breaks early in the match, but they brought back the camera, the picture in picture. Sorry. So,
but it wasn't always there.
Yeah, it wasn't
so
always
it was interesting to see when they did and didn't.
Yeah. But during this match, we had our first picture in picture, and during that entire time, of the commercial break, Gable dominated.
Mhm.
And he continued to dominate the entire match. He was working over Jay's leg. He threw it off the ring post and stuff. But Jay would eventually get a little bit of a comeback in. He didn't do the spit, but he did like the beginning of the spit where he does
He took a shirt off instead.
he took the shirt off, got a hit in. They would each go for their finishers, but no one would hit. And then the F3 would begin. Gable would get Jay in a ankle lock, middle of the ring, center of the ring, and half the lights in the arena go out. Then a little bit more go out. And Chad drops the foot. He's like, okay, it's happening. And he starts to look around, and a little bit more of the lights go out, but there's still enough lights where you can see the ring. And Jey Uso is like, nah, bell ain't rung, bro. And he just spears the shit out of Chad Gable, ends up picking up the pin, 1, 2, 3. He gets up to celebrate, looks at the camera, the last lights go out, but the fans already have enough fireflies out where you can see the ring. And Jay just looks at the camera and goes, yeet, and dips. He just runs. He's out of there.
Just fantastic.
But so Chad has taken the spear and he's laying in the center of the ring, and the ring starts to fill with smoke. And he finally comes back to life and looks over, and Nikki Cross, or I don't know what they're calling her.
Yeah,
I'm calling her Nikki Cross. In her mask.
I think she's Abby the Witch. I think is what she's.
Abby the Witch? Okay. We'll call her that then. She stands up and is right outside the ring looking at Chad, and Chad is like, oh, screw this. He backs up, gets out of the ring. He takes off. Abby has another box with a VHS in it, and she just turns and she hands it to Pat McAfee. And that's all we get from the howdy stuff at this point. I'm going to pop all of this. I would like for there to start to be a little bit more of. I'd like the howdy stuff to build a little bit more week to week than this. This felt like a little bit of a step back in terms of last week. We saw silhouettes of all the characters, so I thought maybe this week we would get a second character like in the ring with Abby the Witch, but we got more stuff later in the night, so my wishes were fulfilled there. But in terms of the match, in terms of just in terms of all of it, I like this enough to give it a pop.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I'll give the whole thing a pop as well. As much as I said I didn't think it was a great match, it was a match, and maybe that sounds too critical. I just find myself again, like when Jey Uso's music hits, I'm like, yeah, here we go. Like I am excited.
Yeah.
But then he gets in the ring and the bell rings, and I'm like, here we go. And I just don't know what they do at this point.
Oh yeah,
with Jey.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard for me to maybe care a little bit, because obviously everybody knew Howdy was going to interfere some way, somehow. What do you think? He's going after Jey or Gable, which we'll get into everything later. But I was like, okay, well, some Howdy stuff's going to happen. Jey picks up the win, and now you look at it and it's like, okay, well, what does Jey do?
Well, yeah, when he was standing in the ring and all this stuff was happening, I was like, oh, they're going to get Jey involved here. Nope. Mm-mm. So our prediction of Jey being a part of the Howdy stuff is, I think, wrong at this point. And that really does leave the question of like, where is Jey going? We talked about Seth Rollins not having a path, but Jey does not have a path at this point.
No, and that's, you can obviously say like, yeah, bloodline stuff is there, but there's a time and a place for that, which we all know is going to happen. And how do you get there with him? You know, you have to do something in the meantime.
Yeah, what do you do before that?
You can't just, I guess we thought maybe Howdy would attack him, maybe write him off screen for a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like that was maybe the most logical thing they could have done.
Well, you got to get him to SmackDown somehow.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that right now.
Like,
I thought the Money in the Bank briefcase
right.
If he had
that thing, if he had the Money in the Bank, he could bounce around shows and you know, threaten that he's going to do it. But now he's got no reason to be there unless Roman and Jimmy show up at SummerSlam and they kind of bat signal for Jey, right? Like, we need your help. But at the moment, at least in terms of SummerSlam, I got no idea. I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could expand on that. Some type of maybe run in, like you said, maybe everybody is there. We've talked about it before, and then maybe he's the last one or something. As for the Howdy stuff, at this point in the show, I thought, man, we're doing another VHS.
Yeah.
I thought, there's got to be some different, not even maybe a different, like you said, you saw the silhouettes, maybe another person in the ring. I thought maybe if you continue to do the VHSs, maybe you had, last week I thought this, even though they've been great, maybe you highlight individual.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. Or maybe they, it fills up with smoke. Maybe they have a different means of them getting there to attack. Maybe there's a different way they can attack. Something, just a little bit of variety. You don't need a lot, but just something a little bit different. But as we talk about, we'll get into later about the show. It was pretty good, like the howdy stuff. But give it all a pop, and a good way to kind of start the show. You're 40 minutes in at this point, though?
Yeah. Let's move it on. We got Sheamus is backstage in an interview, and they're celebrating 15 years of him being a superstar. And before he can really even get out a sentence, Bronson Reed shows up. Mm-hmm. And Bronson Reed is like, he talks about how you're the past, I'm the future. I'm Big Bronson Reed. I'm going to beat up Pete Dunne tonight. And Sheamus is like, well, if you know the rule, if you interrupt me, then I'm going to fight you, fella. And Bronson Reed's like, yeah, that's fine with me, but not tonight because I already have a match. And that's that. And
Can't sum it up better than that.
Yeah. I mean that's really what happened. Yeah. And we go right to that match. Bronson Reed would storm out to the ring, and he was fighting Pete Dunne tonight. So two guys that we don't get to see a lot of. This had potential here.
Yeah, Pete Dunne, obviously with New Catch Republic, I guess they'd been tagging, but I guess they were on NXT and Tyler Bate got hurt.
Yep. So he's in singles action here, and he did phenomenal. They tried to book Bronson. I felt like they were going to book Bronson Reed strong here. We were both like he might kill Pete Dunne, and we were both a little bit disappointed because we're like, Pete Dunne doesn't deserve to get destroyed. That didn't happen. Pete Dunne got a shit ton of offense off here.
Yeah, and I was also maybe disappointed the other way because, not saying maybe disappointed is the wrong word, but like Bronson Reed, I thought, like you said, they were going to make him look strong. I'm not the number one big supporter, but he's going up against Sheamus. You think, hey, we're building to that. He's got to look really, really good here. And I mean, Pete Dunne stole the show in this match.
Yeah, he really did. Very early on the match, Bronson Reed would go for a power bomb on Dunne, but Dunne would literally turn it into an armbar while he was being picked up. Very cool little spot here. He would do 3 consecutive apron moonsaults outside the ring to get Bronson Reed down. It really was a Pete Dunne showcase. We haven't seen him on the main card in a long time, and this was them reminding us, like, hey, this dude's in WWE, and he's amazing for the people who don't watch NXT and stuff. He then starts to do the whole joint manipulation thing. He started attacking Bronson Reed's fingers, his wrist, all that jazz. Bronson Reed would have some offense here and there, but it was kind of like he was dealing with a pesky, like he just couldn't get Pete Dunne off of him. But Bronson Reed would go for, they would end up on the top rope. Pete Dunne would start reversing the move, but then Bronson Reed would do enough to where he could throw him down. And he kind of tossed him off the top rope. Pete Dunne would end up laying there, and Bronson Reed would hit a top rope tsunami finish for the win. 1, 2, 3. He did get the win, but he was not done after the match. He began to attack Pete Dunne until Mr. Sheamus comes out. Sheamus runs out there, and he starts punching Bronson Reed, and he's a big dude. He can't go down easy, so Pete Dunne is like, you know what, I'll help you out here for a minute. They team. It's a throwback to when they were brawling brutes or whatever they're called. Mm-hmm, yeah. And they get Bronson Reed out of the ring. Sheamus is like, let's celebrate. Goes up to shake Pete Dunne's hand. He's like, no, you were the reason that we broke up. I didn't forget about that. And it ends there. But this whole thing, Pete Dunne put on a show. I always like when wrestlers don't forget the past that easy. Like, I like how they acknowledge it. So Pete Dunne not shaking the hand was a nice little touch. I'm in for Sheamus. A Sheamus Bronson Reed match is going to be, they're going to beat the hell out of each other. It's going to be good. So all this is good for me. I'll give it a pop.
Yeah, I guess as that match went on, I was thinking to myself, man, this is going to be a drop for me. But as I'm sitting here, I'm going to give it a pop.
Ooh.
So I'm going to give it a pop because, like you said, Pete Dunne showcase. Pete Dunne's great.
Yeah.
I haven't really at least gotten to see Pete Dunne in a while. It was a nice refresher. It was nice to see, like you said, that throwback to, that's what, a year, maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. I don't remember.
Technically, it was Butch.
Well, I don't know if they'll ever say that, but we'll go from there. But as I'm sitting here listening to you talk about it, I remember a point I made a couple weeks ago on the podcast. What do Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed have in common? Not Braun. You can't use that.
They have no story.
No, they have no story, but they also just advance other people's stories.
Yeah.
So, Sheamus Bronson Reed match, like you said, it's going to be great, and it's going to give us a Sheamus and Pete Dunne feud.
It's going to be another triple threat. Sheamus just going to be
No. I think Sheamus is going to beat Bronson Reed. I think Bronson Reed is just, they don't care. So
it's just going to lead to Pete Dunne and Sheamus.
Yeah.
That's fine. That match will be a banger. I mean,
I would be more happy about that because they keep putting Bronson Reed in triple threat matches.
Like, I get annoyed that Sheamus kind of at this point, that's all he does. He gets interviewed and he says banger after banger after banger, but like, he walks the walk. It's bangers every time he's in the ring. So like, you'll have a banger with Bronson Reed, and then whenever they do the Pete Dunne match, shit'll be a banger. So
yeah, and that's really what I'm excited for. Like, that's what they're kind of hinted at least with the end there. And I mean, Pete Dunne's gonna look fantastic, and that's gonna be great.
So we move on.
That's gonna be. Oh, quote me. I don't mean to interrupt. That's gonna be at Bash at Berlin.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm quoting. That's what 100%. I'm looking at.
We then would move on. Judgment Day is backstage. They're just talking, and Seth Rollins walks up to him, and Damian Priest is like, "You guys go on for a minute. I'm gonna talk to Seth." And Seth is like, "You know what? It's better be lucky than good, and you were very lucky at Money in the Bank because of the botch pin everybody knows. But," he says, "you were also very good. You were also very good." And he said, "I respect you because you kept your word. Your boys stayed out of it. Judgment Day did not get involved." And he said, "Because you kept your word, I'm a man of my word as well. I will honor our gentleman's bet. I'm staying away from that title while it's on you." And Damian goes, "You know what? I don't care about the bet. I'm a champion that likes to prove myself. When I'm done with Gunther, I'm throwing the gentleman's bet out the door, and you can come get some whenever you want." And I was like, "Yeah, Damian. Yeah."
I mean, we can talk about it now, I guess. Like, we all thought Gunther's a foregone conclusion. This is the first hint of like, yeah, maybe it's not.
Yeah, maybe it isn't.
Maybe Priest does beat Gunther. I don't know.
Because we talk about a plan for Seth Rollins. I mean, somehow Damian Priest does beat Gunther, and you can have the Judgment Day get a little screwy there with that one. And then that same prove it mentality is still there for Damian Priest. And now he already told Seth to come get some. And then you can finally get your, then you can drop it to Seth and maybe move on the Punk storyline with the one-on-one there. So,
yeah, that's what I was thinking was Rollins can take the belt off of him, and then you can have Punk take that, and then obviously the Gunther Seth stuff would circle back around. You got Drew with it. I'm just like,
he may win. He may win.
I know WWE's done a really, really good job about. I know we talk about like as predictable as some of these PLEs are, but they throw these curveballs at you that really make you think that. Now I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, at the very end of this little segment, Damian does answer the phone, and he goes, "You here? Where you at?" That's all he says. Puts the phone down. We then get Sami Zayn. Guess what he did? He came out and he reminded everybody that he's the Intercontinental Champion and that he should not be taken as an underdog. And I said, "Damn it, my cable's broken. It's replaying the episode from 2 months ago, man." And then you were like, "No, it's live TV." And I was like, "Oh, I have just seen this 10 times already." It's freaking terrible. Anyway, thank God Braun Breaker comes out, and he goes, Sammy looks at him and goes, "Why are you here? You here for a rematch?" And Braun goes, "No, I came out here to look the only man out here who can beat me in the eyes. There's no reason for me to get a rematch, so I guess," and midway through his sentence, he goes and he spears Sami Zayn in the middle of the ring.
It shouldn't have been that funny to me, but it was. I really like that.
No. It's freaking terrible. Anyway, he spears him. Adam Pearce and a bunch of boys come out. It's like him and Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan, Kenny Dykstra.
A lot of guys come out.
One guy I don't know. Every week I'm like, I don't know that guy.
They didn't send the security guards. They sent general managers and important personnel after him. Anyway, they kind of pull him off of Sami Zayn, but Sami Zayn took one spear and rolled out to the outside of the ring, setting up what? It looks like
Braun points.
I can do my running spear. I couldn't do it. And he goes and he does it, and he actually hits it. Sammy tries to get out of the way, though. It's like he forgot that he had to take it. So it was one of his weaker ones, but he did take it.
This was like a spear onto like the thigh or something.
And then randomly Ilia Dragunov comes out and consoles Sammy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ilia and Braun have a history.
Yeah,
but then they had said on commentary that Dragunov talks about how much he loves Sami Zayn. Maybe he did. I mean, you could say that about anybody, I guess.
This ended up with a backstage segment where Adam Pearce gave Ilia Dragunov a match with Braun for tonight. Mm-hmm. So that part is good. but I'm dropping this whole segment. I'm dropping the whole segment because none of the parts impress me. I like Braun Breaker. We're very high on him. I also have seen that part 4 weeks in a row too, of him just spearing somebody and doing the outside spear. Sami Zayn stuff is just, I mean, it's nauseating at this point with his promos in the ring. Yeah, a big drop here for me. I did not like any of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you on this. I'm gonna drop it as well. Did you write that down before I even said it?
What?
Did I drop it?
Yeah, I wouldn't allow you to pop this.
The
freaking John Cena could have come out in the middle of it.
The Braun Breaker and Dragunov stuff previously, you know, we were like, man, they're gonna have a triple threat with Ricochet. Well, now maybe they're just taking out Ricochet and they're plugging in Sami Zayn. Maybe.
Yeah, good point.
They could potentially be what they do. I mean,
well, why would Ilia fight Sami? Just for a shot of the belt? Because Sami's like, you've been helping me, so I'm giving you a shot.
Yeah, sure, why not? Sami seems like a nice guy, I guess.
He's Canadian.
The Sami Zayn promo, same stuff. He didn't say Intercontinental Champion this time, though. He did just say champion multiple times.
Yeah.
The Braun Breaker stuff, I liked him spearing him like halfway through his sentence. I was like, oh, okay. That's like different, but
it's different, but same.
Yeah. It's the same stuff every week. And like you said, Dragunov seems kind of like out of nowhere. I'd like to see something a little bit with Braun. I don't know.
Thank God the things happened in the future in this episode because that helped a lot. But next up, we get Judgment Day. We get JD, Finn, and Carlito from the Judgment Day taking on Braun Strowman, The Miz, and R-Truth in a 6-man tag. This match started hot because during The Miz and Truth's rap intro, because they do the intro, the awesome truth.
Yeah, what's up?
That thing. What's up? Judgment Day is like, we're not waiting for you guys to just sit in the ring and rap, so we're going to beat you up. And they did that. And Braun Strowman then hit his music, and he comes out and immediately goes after JD. Or no, he goes after Carlito. Excuse me. And The Miz and R-Truth, somehow, we pan to the ring. They already have Finn Balor and JD McDonagh on their shoulders, and they attitude adjust them both. Yeah. Match hasn't started.
Nope.
They just have already taken finishers here. But the match then starts. And R-Truth immediately hits the 5 moves of doom with the 5-knuckle shuffle on Carlito.
I thought this was going to be like...
And then he hit to the AA on Carlito. And I was like, dude, R-Truth is killing everybody. This is nuts.
Must have been that karaoke on TikTok.
I think Finn Balor broke the pin up and then pulled him out of the ring. But we got a commercial break right after that. And by the time we got back, Judgment Day has the momentum again. And they're working over The Miz. The Miz is taking the bleeding here, working for a hot tag. They eventually do get the hot tag to Braun Strowman, who walks in, destroys JD McDonagh. He then throws him about 15 feet in the air. He does a massive chokeslam to Finn Balor. I mean, he got him way up there.
That was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool. Or maybe it was JD. I don't remember who he choked. He chokeslammed the hell out of somebody.
It was Finn. And then after he chokeslammed Finn, they all roll to the outside of the ring, and R-Truth is like, hey, let's do the thing together. And they go to the outside of the ring, and R-Truth and Braun Strowman intertwine their arms, and they do the Braun Strowman running around the ring, shoulder tackling everybody together. It was a real good buddy moment, man. But right after it, Braun Strowman just is like, I hate JD McDonagh. And JD McDonagh is like, I'm done with this match, I guess. And he runs out of the arena, like just sprints. And Braun Strowman, I'm big monster, I chase. He chased him, leaving The Miz and R-Truth. R-Truth like is walking in the ring to The Miz. He's like, I'm gonna come tag you in. And The Miz is screaming because he sees Finn Balor, and he's like, dude, turn around. And he won't turn around. Finn kicks R-Truth into The Miz, then proceeds to do the coup de grace to The Miz, or to R-Truth. 1, 2, 3. Judgment Day gets the win here. Miz, they've panned to a shot of him. He's getting frustrated with the lack of brains from R-Truth. This match, when they announced it at the start of the show, I was like, that is going to be the point. That's going to be the bathroom break. I actually ended up having fun with this. I really did. I'm giving it a pop, surprisingly.
Well, I thought when I was watching this match that this match is for about 15,000 people. It is for the people that are there.
Yeah.
And everybody else at home, you can do whatever you want to do. Very house show feel.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop it.
Okay. Again,
Braun Strowman, no direction. The only thing you really get out of this is Miz, I guess, being distraught.
Yeah.
put your tag team champions, they get the win, but you put them in this kind of like silliness thing again, where Judgment Day almost feels like they're back to the silliness again.
Yeah.
We mentioned it with Sammy and Braun. We've seen this before.
Yeah, there was a lot of that on this Raw.
And there was about like an hour stretch here where I was like, man,
I've
this
seen
is
this Raw. Yeah.
deja vu.
Yeah, we'll go backstage though. Pierce having a busy night per usual. GMs are working lately. Punk's backstage with him, and Punk's trying to get that suspension lifted for Drew McIntyre, and Pierce is like, dude, you're causing me issues. Drew's causing me issues. If I'm gonna lift any suspensions, I need alone time with the two of you. So I'll call Drew. I'll tell him to come in next week. But that means you are not allowed to come in next week. And not only that, if you do come in next week, kiss your chances at Drew. Kiss your chance at a future title shot. Completely goodbye. And Punk is respectful. Is like, okay. So,
which is weird because he hasn't been. I guess now that you're talking about it, he hasn't been respectful this entire time. He's done whatever he's done whatever he's wanted to do.
Yeah, well, tell you, new guy, new character.
As of 5 minutes ago, you know.
Then we got a good juicy backstage segment. Let me tell you, Liv and Dom. Dom's backstage. He's playing 2K. He's playing, he bought her a brand new PS5. He might as well use it. He's playing 2K.
I think she bought him that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she bought him that.
Yeah. Liv bought him a PS5. Might as well use it. So he's playing 2K. Liv wants to work on their tag team moves. She's like, we need to work on our tag team moves in order to do this fight. And Dom's like, I don't even want to do this fight anyways. And I kind of just want to play 2K. And she's like, no. You need to relax. We're going to beat your dad tonight. I just think you need to relax. And she pushes him onto the couch. And he's like, whoa, what are you doing? And she starts stretching his hamstring for him, getting real up in there. She knows what she's doing. And he starts to be like, you know what? This feels good. He starts saying it. He's like, okay, this feels pretty good. Okay, this feels good. Yeah. And then it's like freaking Scooby-Doo. Damian Priest shows up, and then the rest of the Judgment Day do this thing where they like poke their heads out from behind the wall, and they're all standing there.
Great comedy stuff there from JD.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
So good.
It's phenomenal. And then you just hear Carlito go, oh, now this is cool. And Damian Priest's like, what the hell are you doing, man? And Liv's just like, I'll see you later, Daddy Dom. And she runs out of there. And Damian Priest's like, what is wrong with you? He's like, why are you not just into it? It really isn't that hard? And Carlito goes, oh, no, it's hard. Carlito is the man. Oh. And Dom's like, you know what? You're right. I'm ending this all tonight. He takes off. And then and then Finn's like, what did you want to tell us, Damian? And Damian goes, nothing. I'm going to keep it to myself and show Dom later. I'm going to count this as like us doing a pop for the 2 segments so far with Dom and Liv before their match. Okay. It's all pops all the way around. Dude, the comedic timing. Yeah. Dom does his part so well. I don't know how he doesn't crack up. Liv's obviously great at her part, but this is good. This is great.
Yeah, everybody plays the role to perfection. Yeah. If you had told me originally when Carlito had re-signed with WWE that he's going to be a comedy character basically at this point, I would have been like, well, that's stupid. Why even go back? Oh, Carlito's great, though. Oh, I love Carlito right now. Dude, JD and Finn even, who... I mean, admittedly, they're not really like funny. Yeah, they just the shot of them popping their heads out like that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I'll definitely have that picture up. So
it got to be a pop.
Great stuff. But then we get our VHS number 3, Wyatt 6, and this one was a little bit juicy. They're no longer in the Firefly Funhouse in their therapy session. Bo Dallas is now just standing up and kind of just looking menacing.
Yeah, I think maybe he's talking in a mirror or something.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like he's talking to himself because him and Howdy are kind of like one.
Yeah, might be what it is. That's
Once again, I'll be looking down this whole time because I have to just write stuff down as fast as I can. So, Howdy, it starts out with you see Bo, but then you hear Howdy and he says, tell me about your family. And Bo says, I took those that no one wanted. They're forgotten. I gave them purpose. They're so happy that you remembered them, though. And then it cuts to photos of each one of their faces, like all the masks of the buzzard and the pig and all of them. So that was cool stuff. But Bo goes, too much has been lost. It's the price of love. We must see that we must set the captives free. Do you think we are sick? He asks Howdy, and Howdy says, yes, I do. And Bo goes, then sick is what we will be. And throughout this, I mean, that's really all the dialogue that happened, but you have to imagine most of it, like between every piece of dialogue, there were a ton of camera cuts showing characters and masks, so it's hard to do it justice in person. But, you know, in terms of the VHSs, I thought last week had a little bit more story juice, but this is getting more of the insane stuff going. We're moving forward a little bit.
You want to talk about what happened right after the VHS too?
Right after the VHS. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, we'll do that all in one here. So, right after the VHS, Gable is like at Pierce's office and he's like, dude, did you just see that? They're after me. They're talking about me. And Pierce is like, dude, I've upped security the last few weeks. You're just going to have to find out why they're after you and handle it yourself because I've done what I can. And Gable's like, you know what? I'm by myself now. I will. And he backs away. And Adam Pearce opens the door and Bo Dallas is there. He's in the office, and all you do is you see him turn and look at Adam Pearce, and Adam Pearce closes the door. But Bo Dallas is here.
Yeah, I mean, all together, like you said, the VHS last week's and the week before that was a little bit juicier in terms of the actual content. But I liked this one because you got to at least see the faces behind each character. I thought that was really good. The Howdy Bo Dallas interwoven stuff, I still really like that stuff, even though I wish there was maybe a little bit, I don't know. I like what they're doing, but it's also like I don't want it to get too repetitive too fast, which is what I'm fearful of.
Yes. But
I think it got saved because Bo Dallas shows up.
Yeah, what is Bo Dallas doing there in person? Like, I don't know I don't know how that, so is Bo Dallas going to be like a normal human being while we just see VHSs of the craziness and we see the lights go out type stuff happen when Chad's out there. But when you see Bo, like everything's just normal and they kind of play it that way. It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that might be it. And they might end up doing it to where Bo ends up, I don't know, having a match or something. And then the lights go down and they flicker like they used to with like Taker. And then it pops up and then it's Howdy. Like
be a big costume change.
Yeah, I'm sure they can figure it out somehow. They can do it. I mean, if Taker can run 7,000 feet at Mania, and run back.
I did think about that because I kind of thought about that idea of him transforming in the ring, and I thought like, man, the Fiend really capitalized from, or like there was an advantage of him during the Thunderdome era because they could just, cut. Mm-hmm. Get ready, go back out there. So anyway, this I'm gonna go ahead and give all this a pop. It's still good stuff. It's running on the verge of repetitiveness, but I'm still liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a pop as well. I think it almost would have. I might have given it a drop this week if it wasn't for Bo Dallas being there in person.
Yeah.
I think that element really kind of changes it for me because it's like, okay, you see all this stuff in like this hypothetical world where it's almost like this stuff's not real, right? Yeah. But then all of a sudden Bo Dallas is there, so it's like, okay,
it's real.
It's real.
We get a very, very, very quick Damage Control promo vid where they said that they are going to earn their respect tonight and show that there's what they're capable of because they have a match later on. But the next match would be Ilia versus Braun coming out there. Braun would dominate early and most of the match. He would do German release suplex right away. He would do he would run the ring ropes. Michael Cole disappointed me. He didn't tell me how fast he ran them.
He must have.
I'm going to assume 23 miles an hour. But
I'm just going to say because he said it Money in the Bank, maybe you only get it once every week, I guess. He doubled up last week. You got to give it a break.
It was one of those times where Ilia was still getting a little bit of offense here and there, but whenever he'd get one move in and then Braun would suplex him or slam him somehow, some way to get back on track. But Ilia would finally get a couple of knees off and go to the top rope. He would end up power bombing Braun out of the corner, and then he would do a senton off top rope, which looks really, really good. He would go for an H-bomb, but Braun would high knee him and go into another gorilla push slam, or gorilla press slam. I apologize, but Braun would miss the Frankensteiner, and then Ilia would miss the coast to coast, so there was back and forth there. Braun would go for the outside spear, and Ilia would high boot him, and Braun would he'd eat the high boot, and kind of you'd see him walk off, and then the camera cuts to Ilia coming after Braun, and then all of a sudden you just see a flying announce table chair, like the chair they have at the announce tables. Just Braun just chucks it at him, and it ends up clipping it clips his face and then falls down, and it clips his shin, and it busts his shin wide open, so Ilia's bleeding everywhere. This means Ilia wins the match because Braun gets DQ'd, obviously. But Braun then starts beating the hell out of Ilia, which means what? Sami Zayn gets to come back out, and he gets to try to go after Braun again. But Braun is hulked up a little bit too much this time. And Braun would end up beating up Sami, throwing him over the announce table. Then Ilia was like, I'm not going out without a swing. And Ilia would try to get on Braun. Braun would be like, nope. Throw him over the announce table. And he would stand on top of the announce table. Supreme, Braun Supreme. I am going to give this all a pop. I did not like the stuff earlier, but this was like strong. Okay, Braun still is strong, even with that crappy loss at Money in the Bank. This at least keeps me invested in Braun Breaker for the time being, and hopefully we get more matches with him and Ilia in the future too.
I'm gonna pop it just because of that, just because of those two guys. I do, I guess, wonder, like in my head. I mean, he's beaten him before. Why did he have to resort to a office chair, basically?
Yeah.
So it's like you were weak at Money in the Bank a couple days ago. You lost. You resorted to an office chair to, I guess, because you were so angry. But then at the same time, like Sami comes out, but then you also take out both of these guys. Like it's just hard for me to wrap my head around. Like you just lost, but yet you still somehow defeated these guys in an instant. You know what I mean?
They're just playing the hot-headed thing.
Yeah,
He's
which makes sense.
You can't control him. He's spearing people out of nowhere.
Yeah,
so
but it makes sense. I just wish that I would, I guess, if that is the case, which I agree with what you're saying, I wish I got to see that more in the match.
No, I agree.
Like I know I just contradicted myself a little bit where I said, "Oh, well, why'd you use the office chair?" I'd see it without getting DQ'd. Let me see it in the ring and actually like, okay, this is the hothead version of it.
I agree. We will move on. We had a couple promo videos. We had a Damian Priest promo video that was basically saying that he's a legit champion and he's going to beat Gunther. And that was followed up by a Final Testament promo video when they basically said the old guard's out, new guard's in. Xavier Woods is going to have to choose.
I know you were real excited about that.
Yeah, he's going to have to choose. So
you wrote that down. He started that 4 times.
Yeah. We moved on. And we would then get the damage control match against Lyra Valkyria, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance. Match would start hot. All the women would just attack. And I was like, is this a tornado tag match?
Everybody just, somebody gets the upper hand. Usually the heels go to the outside.
Yeah. It would end up with Kaden Carter and Kairi Sane starting the match in the ring, which would then lead to very quickly Team Lyra working on Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai was there to take some bumps tonight. She was getting worked over. Yeah.
She always is taking bumps. No weeks off.
So Lyra and them were more of at least they seemed at the beginning of the match, more of a tag team than Damage Control. It felt like Damage Control wasn't going to get it together because they were doing baseball slides, or Katana Chance and Ken Carter were doing baseball sliding drop kicks out of the ring, while Lyra would then do a suicide dive and they would pose. It was like, wow, Damage Control can't do anything. That would turn after the commercial break. Damage Control would start to get their stuff together.
Commercial breaks.
Those pesky commercial breaks. But they looked really good here. Ended up being a hot tag to Lyra and Io Sky. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the two leaders of the two groups. And Io Sky would actually get the advantage. But then Lyra Valkyria would get a couple reversals off into a sit-down powerbomb. Then they would do a cool little spot that you don't see very often where all 6 women would be in the ring and Team Lyra Valkyria would get a team suplex onto Damage Control. Mm-hmm. It's cheesy, but you rarely see it. And when it happens, it's like, I like that.
It's kind of like that and the, what's the other one called? The Trio Woe or whatever, where it's like a superplex and then everybody climbs on top. Yeah. That one too, you're always just like, yeah.
Yeah, so Team Lyra would hit the keg stand. That's when Kaden Carter and Katana Chance do their little move.
Did not know that was the name.
Yeah, that's what they called it. I don't make the rules here. Pin gets broken up. Io then throws one of them over the top rope. I messed the name up there. But, Io Sky picked up Kairi Sane to do where she was going to throw her over the top rope to do a suicide dive. And she clipped the rope.
Yeah.
And just landed smack dab on her face to the outside. It was tough.
And she stands up and you can see she's like, yeah. And Cole and McAfee are like, are you okay?
Yeah, they couldn't play it off.
She's like, yeah, and then you see her immediately just fall back down to the ground. She just crumples back. It's like, oh, okay.
They would all fight on the outside, but it would eventually be EO in the ring with everybody in Caden Carter. So Lyra, Valkyria, and Katana Chance would get eliminated on the outside of the ring. All 3 Damage Control members would be inside with just Caden Carter. EO would hit her over the moonsault. 1, 2, 3. Damage Control picks up a good win here. Yep. And as they're celebrating, new team arrived. Sonya Deville, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler attack. They easily disperse of Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane. Yeah. But then they each take their turns hitting their finishers one by one on Io Sky. They're here to stay. They did an interview right after with Kathy Kelly basically saying that they are going to set the standard in the division. They're going to be the ones that run the whole division. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn showed up, said that we're still champions, and Sonya said not for long. I'm a big fan of Sonya Deville. I thought this match was better than it needed to be. Damage Control actually got a win for once. This was all good. I'm popping it.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted because you get Damage Control that gets a win, much needed win. They said they're here to shake things up, but then they get attacked and destroyed by a new team.
Yep.
And then the new team hurdles them and goes for the tag title. So it's like, well, what happens with Damage Control now? I guess would be my thought.
I don't think they're going to hurdle them. They'll probably schedule a match for that whoever wins gets title match.
So which would be Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler.
I'm saying that they're not just they're going to have a match. So I guess they will hurdle them in terms of just beating them. I don't know.
The way at least I took the backstage promo was that they're Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, like first in line.
Oh,
maybe I'm wrong in thinking that, but
no, I think that they'll do a Damage Control versus whatever this new group is called, and the winner then gets it. But then you also have Bianca and them have also stated that they're coming back after the belt again. So we're getting spicy in the women's tag division.
Fatal 4-way tag.
Bianca and them need a third member because this stuff is. I mean, they're running a numbers game here.
I mean, they're more ridiculous than 3 members on a team, so I guess Unholy Union would need a third member as well. They don't have a third member.
That's true. Yeah, they're disadvantaged here.
But yeah, I'll give it a pop. It was nice to see Damage Control get the win. Like I said, little unsure what's going on there. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. For some reason, there's no character development. They just come out and we're going to destroy people. I've kind of liked that for some reason. I don't know why.
It works for them.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work for a lot of people, but it works for them. They're menacing looking humans. Yeah. And when they do it, it's dope. And now Sonya can be their mouthpiece. She's got on a mic.
And
glad to see
the little bit we saw in the ring, I mean, granted, she's just hitting a couple moves here and there, but look good.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see her in the ring.
Yeah.
We get a very short Gunther promo video where he's basically said he's going to win the World Heavyweight Championship and he's going to bring, honesty and prestige back to this great sport. So looking forward to see Gunther next week. We only got a couple weeks till Mania, bro. Show up to work.
SummerSlam.
What'd I say?
Mania.
We only got a couple months till Mania, bro.
It's the mania of the summer, I tell you.
The mania. It's the mania of the summer.
They just do that. It's the mania of August. It's the mania of September.
Every PLE. Yeah. It's a WrestleMania February.
This is the mania of all manias.
I love it. We then get our spicy main event. Liv, Dom, Zelina, Ray. And I was looking at the clock. Not much time here.
Sometime. Like 20 minutes-ish. A lot to cram in, though.
A lot of commercials.
You gotta pay the bills somehow.
Liv and Zelina would start the match, and Zelina would easily get the advantage on Liv, which is a little messed up. But everybody wants to see Dom and Ray. Come on. So she gets a quick tag on Mr. Dom, and Dom gets the advantage on Ray. And Ray is the one who quickly tags Zelina back in. And when Zelina comes in, she gets momentum, and Dom decides to interfere. Liv is in the corner. She's sitting there like getting her breath. And when Dom interferes, Ray's like, get out of my ring, dude. And he drop kicks Dom, and Dom falls face first between the legs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he does. I'm just calling it how I see it. You see the photo, okay?
That was the very nice way of you to word that. I didn't know how you were going to word that. Props to you.
He face plants his... We would then get a commercial break, and when we came back, Liv and Dom are working as a team. They're hitting tag team moves.
Yeah, they didn't need to work on tag team moves like Liv said.
No, they were good.
They were just flawless.
They were good. They were doing a lot of stuff where like Dom would hit a move, then back away and kind of get the ref on him, and Liv would choke Ray for a second. There's actually a spot where Dom got on top of Ray and started ripping his mask. A good little hole in his mask, bro.
Nice size.
But
And
whenever
it's been nice. I don't mean to interrupt before you cut you off. I can't remember the last time. I know it used to happen all the time. It's been a while since I remember Ray getting his mask.
he's been very outspoken in recent interviews that he does not like when people mess with the mask too. Like he likes the mask. Like he doesn't want to show his face at all.
Yeah.
But with Zelina and Liv would end up in the ring again, and Zelina would just like have the advantage this match on Liv, which was a little to me. But she'd hit like a Hurricane Rana DDT right into a meteorite off the top rope. But Liv would then get a reversal, and she would hit the Three Amigos and the shimmy once again. You know,
A little shimmy.
she'd go for an oblivion and miss. But Ray and Dom would get back in the ring. Dom would try for the Three Amigos, but he could never get it. He never was allowed to do it.
I swear. I don't know if everybody else is keeping track. I hope everybody else notices that I don't know if he's ever hit it.
I don't think he has. But Ray puts him in the 619, goes for the running kick, and Dom actually catches his leg and holds him there because Ray's trying to like wiggle out. And Zelina would actually come and finish off the 619 and hit him like in the gut.
Yeah.
It looked a little bad, but I like the idea.
Yeah. Maybe could have went from the other side, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Ray would then hit a frog splash, but Liv would break the pin. Zelina would then hit a 619 on Liv, but then throw her out of the ring, follow her out of the ring, and Liv would no-sell the 619 and throw Zelina off the post.
Uh-huh.
Fine by me.
Yeah. She's the champ. Why not?
Ray would then have Dom on top of the far ring post, on top of the top rope. Liv would get a chair and throw the steel chair into the ring to distract the ref.
Almost out of the ring.
Almost out of the ring. She tossed that thing.
She threw that thing.
To distract the ref, he turns. Liv gets up on the rope and hits Ray off to where he falls, dead center of the ring. Dom gets a beautiful 5-star frog splash, top rope.
Not 5-star. That's
No,
Rob
it's
Van
5-star.
Dam. That's Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, but it's 5 stars because it looks so good. Dom's was great. 6-star frog splash from Dom. And he nailed it. And Dom pins his dad finally, and he is ecstatic.
As
He's
he
a
should be.
happy man.
He
He's
should
jumping
be.
around the ring. He finally does it after all these years. And he looks at Liv and he's like, it's pretty good. And Liv jumps on him and wraps her legs around him. They fall to the mat. And Dom is like, you know what? I'm accepting this. And he puts his forehead on her. They're right about to kiss. And this is my brutality. Mami is back. And she's pissed. Not happy Mami. She runs it.
Mad Mommy.
I thought we were just going to get her standing on the stage and being all mad. But no, she's like, I'm coming after Liv. Liv is shocked. Dom is shocked. Liv just takes off. She's like, I'm running.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Doesn't
Taking off.
even wear her belt. Just takes off.
Nope. Dom sits there in the ring. He's just kind of trying to act cool. Rhea gets in the ring. And he goes, can I have a hug? And she just says, hell no. Camera cuts off. That's the end of Raw. This stuff was so good. Rhea's back. Liv and Dom are clicking. The drama has now finally gotten really good here. I'm loving it. Pop.
Yeah, it's got to be a pop. Dom, when Mommy gets in the ring, he puts his head down, kind of like that disappointed, like kind of like, you know, when your dog does something your dog's not supposed to do. And Dom is so good at that. I don't know how he's so good at that. The match itself, it was okay. Not the biggest Zelina Vega fan. I'm finding myself more and more as the days go by, just like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
I agree.
Ray is what Ray is. Ray's a fantastic wrestler for, I don't know, 50-something, however old Ray is. The Liv and Dom stuff, I mean, you can't say enough about it. It's been so good. And then for Mommy to come back, just injected into the veins, just full on. What happens now? I mean, Raw's a week away, but it's like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Like, I'm excited. I wish it was, Monday already again.
I can't wait for Dirty Dom to make the right decision and ditch Mommy for his Liv. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's SummerSlam is what we're thinking, right?
Yeah.
So obviously she's going to be like, well, you got to prove your love to me or prove that I'm the mommy for you or whatever. And Dom's going to come out there with Rhea, I assume. What happens?
Oh, yeah.
Because I've seen it more and more that people are thinking Liv's not going to drop the belt. And honestly,
Dom's turning on Rhea at SummerSlam and choosing her. We're going to get a Macho Man moment with Liv with the title on Dirty Dom's shoulder. Maybe with a plate of nuggies. PS5 controller in his hand. He's going to be living the good life, man. I cannot wait for it. Book it. Anyway, great episode of Raw. Good episode of Raw. Another pop from us. First hour was a little rough, but it got there.
Yeah. I pretty much said early on, like, first, I don't know. After the Punk Rollins stuff and the Jey Gable stuff, I was like, man, this next like hour and 20 minutes, like it's gonna get saved because of the Mami return. Mm-hmm. You had the Braun sprinkled in there, and Ilia, which was nice, but kind of a little bit more of a drag in the middle than there has been in the past.
Overall, though, it was a pop. Another pop of Raw for us. Follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod, and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at Spotify, Apple, etc., and share us with whoever might like this great wrestling content. As always, I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time. We're out.